IAIS Malaysia, a new Islamic think tank dedicated to civilizational renewal in the Muslim world, working to promote intercivilizational understanding regionally and globally. The Institute's popular monthly lecture has attracted wide attention and features leading scholars and public figures. Here are a dozen representative thinkers.
And I hope that here in this place, the IAIS will develop into an institution that will be regarded as one of the excellent institutions that we have on Islam, that will be having excellent network with other institutions, Islamic institutions all over the world, but also, I would believe, also the non-Islamic institutions too.
Islam stands for pluralism in moderation, and we hope to develop this for Malaysia's societal and civilizational development. Our research will be guided by the principle, the Quranic principle of wasatiyya, moderation and balance, which is a designation, the Quranic designation of the Ummah. And our research will also be guided in the light of ijtihad, the maqasid and objectives of the Sharia for the benefit of Malaysia and the Ummah. And we will be pursuing this program through colloquia, conferences, and publications.
In our relationship with the non-Muslim, look for what are common between us. Strengthen those communities. Those communities happen to be also the things that the country needs. In the building of that nation, we need to come up with core universal elements that can be accepted by all members of the community. And where we differ, and we cannot reduce that difference anymore, that in the sense that that is the minimum that we have to do. We can't reduce that difference anymore. Then we have to go through dialogue, through education, and so on, how to inculcate the spirit of tolerance and respect.
Ladies and gentlemen, the journey ahead is a long one, and I would like to appeal to the media to help us achieve our goals. So please remember this later when we sit together during the press conference. IAIS has the responsibility to critically examine, evaluate, and propose the policies to address the current issues facing society. However, we need the help of the media to promote social change through dissemination of our views as accurately and as widely possible. In fact, the power of the press should never be underestimated. You have the ability to unite this country. You have the ability to bridge barriers, to unite Muslims and non-Muslims, and protect the national interest.
Modern science, which is also often called Western science, is not the only legitimate science of the natural order, and that in fact modern science has been a challenge to the Islamic worldview. It's also been a challenge to my worldview, so I can identify with your concerns, and also that modern science and technology are not value-free as claimed because it imposes a particular worldview and values of its creators.
90% say Muslims should participate in interfaith activities. This is an enormous change. I was active in the beginnings of interfaith, both internationally and in the United States. At the time, I didn't even think we would do anything all that special, because I didn't realize nothing had been going on before. But initially, there was great reluctance. Catholics had a problem getting involved in dialogue, and Muslims had a similar problem. Both were, but at different times. Catholics earlier. Both were concerned that dialogue would mean losing or giving up part of one's faith, that somehow the other expected to lecture or to give a khutbah, this way, rather than a real exchange. The question was, why do they want to talk to us? I mean, if we each know and believe in what we believe, what are we going to talk about? And, you know, what's the end of this dialogue? That has changed enormously now in terms of American Muslims.
As a politician, my question is necessarily political, so I apologize beforehand. When we speak of a dialogue between the West and Islam, between two civilizations, I think it's obvious to most of us that these two civilizations are not monolithic. Neither is the Western civilization monolithic, and neither is the Islamic civilization monolithic, and we can't assume or view each other as a homogeneous, monolithic entity. Now my question is...
Indeed, the impact of 9/11 on the Islamic world was great. On one hand, Muslim world leaders attempted to address the shameful accusation by holding conferences and seminars to explain that the fundamental doctrine of Islam does not in any way teach or even suggest violence.
I wanted to comment on it because, yes, I don't think it would be the solution to eradicate race-based parties if Malaysia was a liberal country, if we would live in a liberal system, and if it would be more like a pluralistic system. But it's clearly, Malaysia, it's not that. So my question was, coming back to a more pragmatic implementation, pragmatic approach to the concept of One Malaysia.
Christianity and Islam have much in common. Allah, the God of the Quranic revelation, is closely linked to Yahweh, the God of Judaic faith. The Quran contains narratives concerning characters known to Christians from the Bible, such as Adam, Noah, Abraham, Jacob, Moses, David, Mary, and Jesus. The God worshipped by Muslims is the creator of heaven and earth, the God who has made his will known through the prophets. He is a God who bestows the reward of paradise on those who believe his message and obey his will and his law.
This seems to me that the world wants to heal, reconstruct, and this is what we should be party of.
In fact, our education tends to polarize us. I will just give you an example because I want to suggest how we can actually change or revamp our education. We need to revise our education system in order to bring about the right attitudes that we need.